having issues with their own. It wasn't really like different gangs going at it. I mean, I've seen gang wars in there, and I've seen groups. I've seen Indians fight Mexicans and all that, and I've seen someone get their face splashed with melted Jolly Ranchers, and I've watched their hand touch their skin and their skin come off of their face. And that was that was one of the first things I seen. But
What's up, everybody? Got a good guest on today, man. I'm sure everybody's going to like this cat. Might even have him freestyle tonight. I don't know what he's capable of doing tonight, but he's done a bunch of time, man. He's opened up for some big name people with the music industry, seen some wild things. But anyway, Dope Beezy, what's up, man? How you feeling tonight?
what's going on, man? I'm feeling good, man. Just chilling, man. Blessed more than ever.
I want the people to know who you are, man. Tell them who you are, where you're from.
Man, my name's Dope Beezy, man. I'm a rapper. I'm from North Carolina. Originally from Pittsburgh, PA. Born and raised, kind of in between both, man. Did a lot of time, man. Been doing state time and in and out of juvenile, from all the way from juvenile detention to STG camps and anything in between. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. You end up in these youth prisons as a kid. What was your life like growing up? Why do you end up in these places?
Man, so where I'm from, man, a lot of people will get up here and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm from this, that, and the third." But I grew up. We ain't had no money like that. You know what I'm saying? My mama, Lord rest her soul, and she was a hustler, man, by any means. So she always made something happen, and we just lived in a bad place, man. We lived in Pittsburgh, man. I was out late at night. I'm 8, 9 years old, and I'm getting into shit that I shouldn't be getting into, and we ended up moving down to North Carolina, man, trying to get away from it, man. And I just kind of dove headfirst into it even more. You know what I mean? And it's just one bad situation after another, man. You get tired of being stuck in that cycle of being broke, not having shit. You know what I'm saying? And you're not having nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because all I had was my mom. I ain't have nobody else. I ain't have no dad. I ain't have no family, no uncles, no brothers. So it was just us, man. And eventually you get old enough to where you're like, man, I got to do something about it. And drugs and gangbanging seem to be the way out, man. You know what I'm saying?
Seemed to be the way out at the time, but really it's not the way out. It's the way in, right?
Yeah, the quick, fast way in there. You know what I'm saying?
You know, your mom, you talked about she hustled a little bit. I mean, what was the house like? Drug addicted? Anything like
So
that?
when I was real young, she was good. She worked like she was a nurse, and then I think like in back I was born in '90, so back in '96 she hurt her back, and she got put on opioids and like pain pills, Oxycontin. And this is like the pill mill days, you know what I'm saying? And they're like over prescribing. They're giving people Oxycontin and morphine and Percocets and Xanax, and 10 years down the line, she's fully addicted. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't really. So her hustling kind of started when a couple years into her addiction. You know what I'm saying? Like we were poor, so we got to have There was days we didn't have lights, and I remember I would go to school. I hated school because I would always get picked on because of I was big or I was white or whatever, and man, I started looking forward to going to school because we had lights and air conditioning there, you know what I'm saying, and food, you know what I'm saying, and she would always make shit happen, but she started selling weed and her medication and all that, and it just kind of spiraled, man. Like it got bad for her, you know what I'm saying, and it made her situation harder. I mean, she chose a hard path, and I think that's why her family, my mom's side of the family, they don't fuck with her like that. Then she was like the black sheep, you know what I'm saying.
Your father wasn't around. Did you know who he was from a distance?
Nah, I ain't never met him, man. So it's crazy though. When I got out of prison this last time, my aunt had an aunt, I guess, which is my real father's sister. Sweet lady, her name's Karen, man. She reached out to me and was like, "Yo, we've been trying to find you for years. You got 3 sisters and a bunch of nieces and nephews." And I'm like, "Wow," like, which was crazy. It blew my mind, man. And so I found out I had like 3 older sisters, and they're all sweet. They all got kids and their own families. They live out there in Sacramento.
Out in Sacramento. Did she ever tell you anything about your dad, who he was or what he did with his life?
Yeah, she doesn't. So I feel like she don't know too much more than I do. Like, she don't really see him like that. Maybe you know what I'm saying. And I know she's got other brothers and sisters that kind of they're kind of tight knit. But I mean, from what my sisters tell me, he was just a deadbeat piece of shit to them too. You know what I'm saying? So It don't really affect me no more. I mean, when I was younger, it kind of bothered me, but now it's like, hey man, shit, you're lost, man. I got a beautiful daughter and a beautiful family now. You don't gotta have to worry about every meeting. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. Growing up without a father, I asked you that for a reason because I know you talked a little bit about the gang banging thing and all of that. Do you feel like you gravitated towards that because you wanted some acceptance, you wanted a family, you wanted people to care about you?
Yeah, for sure, man. So it's crazy, man. When I didn't even really start gangbanging officially until I got sent to juvenile detention. But before that, though, in my neighborhood where I lived at, there was a bunch of GDs, and one of them kind of was like a father to me, man. I moved in with him. He made sure I ate. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, he's like, that's still like he's always been there for me. You know what I'm saying? And he wouldn't let me be down. He wouldn't let me, be a GD or, gang bang or be affiliated with anything. Like he was like, nah, you stay in school. But then when I ended up going to prison, there was kind of nothing he could do about it. So when I came home, it was like, it is what it is. And it was like, well, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it under my eye. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, for sure, man, it was definitely like a family. That was like a father I never had. And I love him to this day for it. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing good now. He's not even, on that type of shit no more. He's got his own family and he's doing real well.
White dude, black dude?
He's black.
So let me ask you this: what was it like for you being a white GD, like growing up? I mean, were you respected? Was there some dudes that are like, man, this dude's a white boy? I mean, what was it like?
It's just like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you a lot of white boys try to be where I live at. It's not even really that like down here where I'm at, North Carolina. I live on the coast, man. It's like a beach town. You know what I'm saying? It's not even really like that out here, like now. You know what I'm saying? And back then, of course, yeah, they look at me as a white boy. They're like, oh man, he ain't about shit. I took many ass whoopings. I've been jumped, all that shit. Like, and you always got to prove yourself, man. And that's one thing I got tired of is like everywhere you go, I mean, I could be a hardcore OG, man, here. And then if I go somewhere else where no one knows me, I'm nobody all over again. You know what I'm saying? It's like you constantly having to prove yourself, constantly having to put yourself in some shit that you normally wouldn't get into, but you got to let motherfuckers know you're not to be played with. And as sad as that is to say, man, it just it's a cycle. And that don't help you stay out of prison no more than, you know what I'm saying, than anything else. So
Did it ever make you feel like, man, I don't know why I'm even involved in this shit? You ever feel that way?
yeah, I mean, plenty of times. That was more like as I got older. Like when I was younger, I was like, whatever, just whatever. Like I want to be. I always was like, yo, like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it all the way. Like if I'm gonna be a GD, I'm gonna be a real GD. You know what I'm saying? And I linked up with some people in Raleigh, and that turned into us going to Chicago, and going up there and linking with some brothers and watching brothers like Ike Taylor, one of the founders speak. We got to go beat him and watch him speak, and he's a good friend of mine on Facebook, man, and he's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? And I was super interested in that type of shit growing up, man, because I didn't have nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of spiraled, and going to prison definitely delved me into it a little bit more, because what goes on in there. You know what I'm saying? All politics.
100%. We're going to talk about that in a minute, right? Larry Hoover went to court today.
Yeah.
I did a video about it, broke everything down before when his motion was filed. And I really felt like, and I said, I really believe this cat's going to get out of jail, right?
Right.
But
right.
the original judge no longer was on the case. I think the original judge might have passed away. So now he's got a new judge. And today the new judge asked his lawyer, he said, I want to know how many murders this cat's responsible for. Let me ask you this, from your perspective, even though, you're from Carolina, whatever, Pittsburgh. Do you think that he would have any influence if he got out of prison? We don't have to talk too much in depth. I'll do a video about it, or do you think he's just going to come home and just, be with his family, man? Because that's what I think. He'll just be with his family. If he could ever get out, go to the state system, come home and be with his family if the state system won't release him, and just let him live his last days, man.
Well, yeah, for sure. I don't want to. I'm gonna put it like this because I'm not supposed to speak on him at all. Man, he just wants to go home, man. He just wants to be there. He's got kids, grandchildren. He's been down too long, man. People like he's been locked away in a box for the last 40, 50 years. Of course, he's always gonna be Larry Hoover, man. But other than that, man, I mean, it's been so long since those days, man. No one's ever gonna be the same way they were when they went in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, most definitely, he's definitely trying to go home and just be a part of his family and absolutely want nothing to do with the streets or any type of organization.
Yeah, hopefully that brother makes it home, and I really do hope he makes it home and gets to spend his last days with his family. So, you talked about your music career, I want to talk a little bit about this, right?
Right.
You ever open up for any big names, anything like? Because I look, bro, I listen to your music, man, and
Yeah.
people send me music and stuff. Believe it or not, I'm not
Yeah.
no music critic or none of that, but I think your shit is good, bro. Like really good.
I appreciate it. Yeah, man. So I had opened for artists before, like the Migos, like back in like 2013. It's before I went to prison, or it was 2012, right before I went to prison. And when I didn't really start opening for bigger artists until I came home, man, and it was literally just by coincidence. You know what I'm saying? Like I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, man. I opened for Yellow Wolf. I went on the road with Struggle and opened a couple of his shows up, man. And he's fucking awesome. You know what I'm saying? Opened for Jelly. Who else, man? MGK. A couple. I mean, nobody really like Jay-Z or nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to be like, oh, he thinks he's this big thing and he's not. I mean, I'm not nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's just something called tour support. And you can get on and open these guys' shows up, man, and get a little exposure, man. And it's fun, man. It gets addicting, honestly. Like when I came home from prison and I started doing that, it was like, yo, like I want this right here. Like this is what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Said no big names like Jay-Z or not, but Jelly Roll is one of the biggest names out there in all music. He
Yeah,
won some
yeah,
big
it is.
awards. I mean, and bro, I mean, the dude helps dudes that get out of prison. Like, I got nothing but respect for that dude. He's been through the struggle. He's a
Yeah,
white dude like us, man.
yeah, man, solid.
Grew up
Solid, man. So yeah, Jelly Roll. Man, I've been listening to Jelly Roll since so I'm not that big on country music, but I mean, I've been following Jelly since he was a rapper. You know what I'm saying? That's how I knew. That's how I knew of him and Struggle, man. They were rappers. You know what I'm saying? From Nashville. They were making money. They were doing their thing. Like, believe it or not, I think Jelly Roll, he was a GD at one point in time, and him and Strug. You know what I'm saying? And they both moved on to bigger and better things. Now Jelly Roll is one of the, like you said, one of the biggest rap artists in the world, and that's
You say
crazy.
this, right?
So
You talk, like a lot of people, a lot of these country music fans probably didn't know about his rap record and all the stuff that he
right,
used
right,
to do. I mean, you go watch this shit on YouTube. But when I just went to that Nashville, that country music festival. My wife wanted to go. We went down there,
right,
and
right.
bro, I mean, the dude just broke out and started rapping. DMX, Eminem, like all
Yeah.
old school shit that we grew up on. I'm like,
Yeah,
damn, bro.
yeah, yeah. He's a
And
huge hip hop head, man. He loves rap music, man, and I truly believe it's still one of his passions. I know, I ain't gonna say for a fact, but I know it in my heart that he still makes rap songs. He might not just release them, but I wish he would though, because he had a gift with it. You know what I'm saying?
that big motherfucker can sing, right?
He can, boy. He can blow, man. I mean, man, I love it, man. I love that he got so big, man, because it shows the world that people that look like me have a chance in a world where people have this particular look, or people have this certain expectation of what these people need to look like. Or, man, it just opens the doors for me and so many other artists, man, to be able to come through and be like, man, we could be ourselves as long as we make good music, man. The world can enjoy it like we do. You know what I mean?
So I know you were in the streets, whatever. You end up in prison. What do you end up in prison for, man?
So, man, when I was younger, when I was in like I think it was eighth grade, I started selling dope. I sold crack, and man, my dumb ass just serving everybody. And there was this guy, and I wasn't the only one he got. Man, he set me up. You know what I'm saying? And I went down. And you of all people, what they don't like that crack shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I did 3.5 for that one, and that was like my fourth bid though. You know what I'm saying? I had a home invasion when I was in middle school. Uh, if I discharging a firearm on an occupied dwelling, I had four of those. That was my second bid, and then another dope charge and a bunch of B and they I had a bunch of B and E's. Man, we used to break into people's shit and steal their shit. And so I went to prison for a little bit of everything, but the last one was for my crack charge, and I got convicted of that in 2012. I tried to do probation, just never worked, man. I always ended up on the run. I spent probably 2 or 3 years on the run. Well, no, realistically, it's probably like a year, maybe two. And yeah, they set my ass up the road, man. They were like, nah,
How
send
much
me to
time
the
did you end
prison.
up doing on that last bid?
So when I was doing the probation shit, they have this shit down here called CRVs, where if you're on probation, you get violated, you go do 90 days. So I did that 3 times back to back. And when I say back to back, bro, like I fucking came home, was out for a week, got sent right back, did 90 days, came home, was out for maybe a month, went back and did 90 days. Like, and then when I got violated the fourth time, they tried to sit me in county to wait to go to court. I was like, man, just let me do the rest of my bid, man. I got 3 years, 3.5 years left. I think so. It was like what, 9 months plus 38 months, something like that.
Let's talk about this, right? You know, you said you were. We'll get back to prison and some of the things you've seen and experienced, but you were a white dude in the hood, man, selling crack, right?
Yeah.
What's that life like, man? When you're a white dude out there selling crack, you in danger?
Nah, I mean, I was so young, man. To be real, I could have been. I just probably didn't know it. You know what I mean? And I always had a gun on me and tried to play the role of it and everything. But I mean, honestly, it wasn't really where I lived at. Wasn't that bad at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I was on a certain side of town where I would go hit my licks, and they wasn't living like that over there. There was, I was trying to go where the money was. So really, it was just me sitting around a bunch of crackheads that are drunk all the time, trying to spend their paychecks with me. And I got addicted to that, man. Like I got addicted to because it was good money. You know what I mean, selling crack made a lot of money, and it just it just makes you so hot, though. You know what I'm saying? Because and then you're dealing with the type of people that smoke crack that's like bottom of the barrel. You know what I'm saying? Like these people get hit and they're gonna rat. Someone's gonna tell on you. You know what I mean? So most of it was just me being paranoid because like I know what I'm doing, and at some point someone else is gonna know what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
It works that way. Ever
Yeah.
worried about getting robbed out there?
Nah, so I ain't never been robbed, man. I always one thing my big dog taught me, man, was to always we call it staying in your square. And I would never try to put myself in a situation where I had to second guess what I was doing or put myself in a situation where I'm like so fucked up that I don't know what's going on around me. You know what I'm saying? And plus, I always was the type of person like I said, I grew up alone with just me and my mom. I always like to have my friends and my homies around me. You know what I'm saying? Like even if they didn't gang bang or nothing like that. I mean, I was friends with everybody, and I was always like to have people around me, man. I feel like I was always you know, uh, under control, man. I always had everything kind of under control, and I liked it that way. I never really had no one try to rob me. Of course, people will talk about it, and people that don't like me. I used to rob people, man, and there's plenty of people that don't like me. It's just I never had that problem.
When we talk about you used to rob people, right? What's it like? What goes into it? Is it excitement for you? Is it, yo, I just want to get this bread? Is it
That's
like,
all.
yo, I like all aspects of it?
Nah, it wasn't. I never got excited, man. I always dreaded it, man, because it was like you always to rob somebody. It's like you gotta play that role, man. Like you gotta like be their friend, and it's just it's not something I like to do, man. I only did it out of necessity, and it might not even seem like necessity, but man, you go from making money to where you come home from prison and have nothing. Like you need a way. You're trying to find a way to get back up, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So like it was like, man, I got to do something. I can't sit around and be broke. You know what I'm saying? And it was like I would dread it because there's always a danger that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but a lot of the times, man, me being a white boy, people didn't even see it coming. You know what I'm saying? They just had no idea, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's just something I'm not even proud of that, man. I don't like telling people about it because it's just. I hated playing that role, man. I hated being in someone's face and being like, yeah, man, I got you, and then fucking give it up. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like that shit.
Hey, I ain't mad at you, and I'm not trying to glorify it or anything like that. I'm
Yeah.
just asking because those dudes that are watching this show don't realize it, but man, you could be like you said, it could be dangerous. You could go
Yeah,
on a jukes and end up dead, right? You could go on a jukes and end up paralyzed for the rest of your life.
yeah, man. I've had a friend. I had that happened to a friend of mine. To this day, he's still in a wheelchair. You know what I'm saying?
So now you end up in prison. What's your prison system like there in North Carolina?
So, so it's say it's got a point system. I can't remember the point system. I think it's like if you have either 14 or 11 points or below, you go to minimum custody. I think it's between like 14 and 21 points. You're in medium custody, and anything over that is it's called closed custody, which is like maximum. And so it depends on where you fall. Like your charges determine how many points you got, and then like if you violated probation, you get points for that. So wherever your points land is where you're gonna go. So if you landed between 14 or 21 points, I think I know. Don't quote me to these numbers. It's something like that. But you'll go to either medium or minimum, and I never got to go to minimum. I started at medium, and I always ended up in close custody.
Who runs that prison system over there? What gang?
Uh, so out here is different, man. North Carolina. I feel like I was blessed to be in North Carolina. As bad as the prison I was, one of the prisons I was at was. I still feel blessed, man, because I watch some of your videos and see, man, it really gets crazy. But it depends on what prison you're at, man. Like when I was at Bertie Correctional, which is the STG camp, that was a pretty active yard. It depends on who got, because it was a newer prison. So a lot of the gangs that went there when they opened, established dominance at certain things. Like my homies had the card tables, you know what I'm saying, and certain pods. So like you got different units, different people got different shit. No one really owned or no one really ran the prison. But if I had to say anybody, man, it's always going to be the Bloods. They're always the deepest. You know what I'm saying? And and Bertie, and down here they got this blood set. It's under the Donnie G family. It's called Pretty Tony. And a lot of people ain't probably never heard about it, but they're called the Tonys, the Pretty Tonys. And I think they started there at Bertie where I was at. And they're like nationwide now. And they were pretty deep there. And they were all good guys and everything, but they were pretty deep. And any prison I've been to was always probably the Bloods, bro.
What about the GDs? Are they respected?
Yeah, for sure. There's the GDs are another one that's big, man. So there's a lot of Bloods, a lot of GDs, a lot of Crips. There's not a lot of white supremacist gangs in prison in North Carolina, man. Those guys pretty much either, I ain't gonna play them. I'm not trying to play nobody, but like a lot of the times, like the prisons I've been to, they were either low in number or like they were non-existent. Or if they did exist, like they got some shit down here called Bound for Glory. It's called BFG. I don't know anything about it really, but I was on the yard with a lot of them guys, and they didn't seem to be that racist. They were just a white gang. You had to be white to be in it, and you couldn't have mixed children or some shit, some crazy shit. But they weren't like real active. You know what I'm saying? They were kind of chill. There were certain individuals that were active. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, them guys weren't really. They weren't really causing any problems.
What's it like for a white GD in North Carolina prison?
So it's not bad, man. I mean, I kind of established a little name for myself in the street. You know what I'm saying? And when I went to prison, I kind of went, like I said, I had branched off and I was like, yo, when I was younger, I was like, yo, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. And we ended up going to fuck with some guys in Raleigh, and then that turned us into going to Chicago and linking up with guys up there. So when I got to prison, man, a lot of people that I have known from the street were, they kind of knew who I was. Some people did, and the people that didn't, man, they give you a chance. They're not too oppressive in there. You know what I'm saying? Of course, there's going to be guys that don't really agree with it, but for the most part, 95% of the time, man, I've never really met any black GDs or anybody that was folks, period, that really didn't fuck with white gangsters. You know what I'm saying?
Your people accepted you. They respected you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
I ask you that because I've seen white dudes, man, in black gangs, right, in federal prison. And a lot of them do accept them. Like, yo, it's my homie, bro. The real ones do. But you always get this one or two dudes, man, where they're like, you see it with anything, white Muslims, white dudes that join black gangs, whatever, where they're kind of like, man, there's always that one dude who's like, man, like they kind of want to push the envelope to have something happen to the dude. I guess you could say to a certain extent, kind of telling on the dude. If he does anything wrong, they want to go to the big homie and get him jammed up. That don't happen over
there. So yeah, actually, man, I actually fell out with my own homies on the yard. I stopped fucking with them, man. Not all of them, but for the most part, man, because towards the end of my bid, man, a lot of these young guys were coming in and they were like all getting fucked up. They're like snorting Suboxone water and they're just fucking robbing each other and not looking out for each other and talking shit. I got tired of like, bro, y'all are just. They quick to go to the coordinator and lie on each other and I'm like, man, what are y'all doing? Y'all make us look crazy, bro. And then something will happen, and then a lot of the white boys get a bad rap, and even with me, like for years, man, like I was the white boy in the clique. I was the only white one. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I was so used to these white boys coming around and not really wanting to fuck with them because a lot of the white boys that were in black gangs were either crash outs, crash dummies, or they were just lames. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure you've seen that. You know what I mean? And so I try to keep my distance from them, but I've dealt with that pretty often in there, man. You always meet that few that are they're just lame.
So look, you're the white dude. You're the only white dude there. Another white GD comes there, and maybe he is a little bit soft or whatever. But do you ever feel like when the one white dude shows up, they do try to gravitate towards you? You've been there, like, yo, what's up, bro? Like they want you to kind of like make them feel accepted a little more.
What you mean, like the white one wants to be accepted, or?
Let's say you get a white dude that comes, like I told, man, people know I interviewed my brother on here, major blood gang member, my cousin, yellow boy, known all over the place, 99 gangsters. And my brother used to tell me, he said, man, I hate when these white dudes come from like Long Island or Staten Island talking about their blood. Like, yo, bro. But he would say that, sometimes they would try to gravitate towards him. Like, yo, I'm white too, bro. Like, what's up? I
Oh
want to hang
yeah,
out
yeah,
with
yeah,
you.
yeah, for sure. I mean, there's always that camaraderie, man. Like, I've had that happen a lot of times, man. Like crash dummies will come in, and I don't know they're a crash dummy, but they seem all right, but they seem a little off too, and then they'll kind of gravitate towards me a little bit because I feel like they might have more in common. We're both Caucasian in a black, predominantly black organization. You know what I'm saying? And then they end up being some bullshit or crashing out on some weirdo shit. I mean, I've seen pretty much any scenario play out. You know what I mean?
I've probably seen every single one of them, and
Yeah,
I've seen some white dudes that were fucking gangsters too come in
for
there and learn the
sure.
black
Yeah, for
man. They're
sure. Yeah,
gangsters.
for sure, man. Shout out my homie Yayo, man. He was another white GD, man. He was a little white dude, man, from Raleigh. But he'll go, man. He was a little pit bull, and I fought him twice, man. And the second time we fought was just because we were bored, and he had some hands, bro, for a little guy. You know what I'm saying?
So you fought him one time because you was bored. What was the other reason?
He started popping shit over the car game, and I started popping shit back, and then it got kind of loud, and then the homies was like, "Well, go handle it, because now y'all got to handle it." Like we done got too loud with it. We argued a lot, but that was what brothers do, man. And he's a good guy, though. You know what I'm saying?
So, BZ, you look like a big dude, man. How big are you, man? How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot, like 340 pounds.
You one of them big old country boys, ain't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, you look like a big dude, man. I'm sure people probably did have respect for you. One of the craziest things you've seen, man, in that prison system.
So I've seen, the typical everyday. Besides that, the last prison I was at, Bertie Correctional. That's in a place called Windsor, North Carolina. It's Bertie County, and that's a STG camp. For people that don't know, a secure threat group. That's for gang members. So when you go to this camp, it's down here in North Carolina. They got something called ICON and MCON and HCON. If you they call it blowing somebody down here. Which I never understood that, but when you stab somebody down here, you pretty much they'll send you the icon, which is like it's the hole, but you're in there 24/7 for 6 months. So it's basically you go to the hole for 6 months to a year, and then MCon is called MaxCon, maximum control, and that's for like 18 months to 2 years, and then HCon is like from 2 to 5 years. That's for people that get like kingpin charges and shit like that. And so this prison that I was at had that facility. It had the Icon and MCon there. So it was like that type of prison. It was a very active yard. We had 3 or 4 yards. We had one, two, three, four. We had 5 yards, 6 yards. And all those yards were extremely active. And I was there at a time where the prison was active. I mean, there was a lot of gangsters there. There was a lot of politics going on, and a lot of people, you're making bad choices, man. And that shit, they don't play around in there. You know what I'm saying? You make one bad decision, and I've heard you talk about it several times. Something as little as I can't even think of it. Something as little as wrestling somebody, and it escalate. You know what I'm saying? And turn into someone getting stabbed. And well, one thing I noticed, man, and most of the time it was a lot of the time it was a lot of there was a lot of people uh, having issues with their own. It wasn't really like different gangs going at it. I mean, I've seen gang wars in there, and I've seen groups. I've seen Indians fight Mexicans and all that, and I've seen someone get their face splashed with melted Jolly Ranchers, and I've watched their hand touch their skin and their skin come off of their face. And that was that was one of the first things I seen. But I, it, there's just so much. You know what I'm saying? There's so much that you see in there, and it's like it kind of desensitizes to after a while because I was telling you about the story with the guy with the weed in his ass. You know what I'm saying? And that was probably the most fucked thing I've seen. Honestly, that was pretty wild, man. For the people that don't know, I was talking to him about a guy. He had a mule. He was smashing a caseworker or whatever. He had to bring it in the pack. He sold weed to everybody on the unit. There were these two OG Bloods. For the sake of privacy, we'll call him OG Bird, and another guy named Breakdown. He's from Greensboro, and they like to smoke weed, and they were in there for murder robbery, like robbing some store and murdering somebody, and then some guy killed this guy and his girlfriend or some crazy shit. But they were real active guys, man. They were older guys, and they did the parlay tickets and the NASCAR tickets and all that. And so they like to smoke weed, man. That's what they did. They would do tickets all day, pay out the people their money, and they just want to smoke their weed. Well, this guy DC, he had it, you know what I'm saying? And I guess he ran out one day and he stopped selling these people weed. And but they would see him smoking it. You know, I guess he would. Honestly, he probably would just ran low. You know what I mean? And he was. They would see him smoking it. And it was around Christmas time. You get these Christmas packs. Your family can order you $100 worth of shit. He got two of them. They went over there one day. I'm getting ready to go to yard call. My homie Yayo that I was talking about, he's like, yo, he's like, when they call yard, don't leave the pod. I was like, all right. He was like, in fact, we're going down. He's like, all the GDs going downstairs. Just post up by the tables and just chill. So I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? Post up, I'm watching, just chilling. And I watched these two guys, they masked up, put surgical masks on, and this is pre-COVID. This is like 2014, you know what I'm saying? And they put shirts around their faces. I see DC over there, and the bunks are real close together. You know what I'm saying? And you know, if you're standing in between these bunks, you got two lockers one on each side. And these guys, they mask up, they run up on them. You can hear the sneakers squeaking. Well, the young boy that they're with, he jumps on this guy's back, puts him in a headlock, and rides him to the ground. And they just start fucking him up, man. They start fucking him up. Which is nothing out of the ordinary. What fucked me up was when they kind of stopped and they took the Christmas packs out of his locker, they carried him off, and then the one guy puts these gloves on. He gloves up. Now this guy's laying on the ground getting choked out. He's damn near asleep. And I watched them. They pull his pants down, they yank his shoes off, and they pull his pants off. And they pull his underwear down, and he takes his gloved hand, and old boy, OG Berg, he spreads his cheeks, and he sticks his hands up this guy's ass, and they took the weed out of his asshole, and they took it, and they bolted. And when they did, DC was laying in the floor, and he finally came to, and when he got up, blood just poured out of his, you know what I mean, out of his ass,
Man, taking
man.
it
And,
to a whole new level, huh?
yeah, that's pretty fucked, man. And I never heard somebody holler like that, man. I mean, he was asleep when it happened, and I guess when he woke up, it all hit him at once, man, and he just screamed, man, and he uh he just got up and he bolted towards the door, hollering and crying, and you know, there's a lot of blood, man. There was a lot of blood that came out of him, and we thought we thought he got stabbed. We're like, damn, man, they fucking stabbed him. They didn't even stab him. They didn't stab him. They just beat him up, and
He probably should have just sold him some of that weed, huh?
yeah, I mean, in retrospect, yeah, man. I mean, what are you gonna do, man? You don't see it coming. Three guys gloved up, run up on you with blades, man, and it's
You ever
crazy.
been in a position where you had to do something violent? I mean, not just fighting your homie.
Yeah, a couple times, man. But like I said, most of the time it's like all like inside type shit. Like it was my own people, or I never, thank God, and I thank God for it. I never had. There was a couple of close calls where like we thought we were about to have to like get it in with some Bloods or whoever. It was a lot of the times we were beefing with Crips in there, and I was cool with a couple of them. Shout out Boss Lope, man. That's my people, man, and you know, we were cool with them for the most part. But there was a couple of close calls where I thought we were about to get it in, but thank God we didn't. And so yeah, we always kept it at like the inside shit. It was always like us policing our own. You know what I'm saying?
One thing, man, you hated about prison, bro. One thing that you just hated, man.
Oh man, so the one thing I hate about prison was the frivolous politics, man. Like just the little shit, man. Like it's just everyone's so I don't want to say bored, but I mean for the lack of a better term, and everyone's bored. No one really has nothing going. So I mean the littlest thing just causes the most bullshit. And it's like, man, y'all, it's like we make our own time harder. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we got to do it. Like it's just I always hated that. I was like, man, we could just be chilling in here and you know, we all got this long. We all got a lot of time, man. Let's just. And I was blessed where I didn't have, I didn't have 40 years. I didn't have 20 years, man. I was just doing like a little. We call it a skid bid, man. 4 years ain't nothing, man. I was in there with guys doing life. You know, they wish they had my sentence, man. So, and then right in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, why am I here? You know what I'm saying? I'm only here because I'm validated. Like, I'm here for selling dope. I'm not here for murdering nobody. I'm here for a dope charge. Like, they got me in here with lifers and shit. And I always felt like that was wrong. Like, why would you like why? And I seen guys in there that were man, I've seen white boys in there. I've seen black folks in there. I mean, these guys are like little. I don't want to call them cornballs, but they're like straight edge, man. These people that you would never think went to prison. I mean, they're straight edge, nerd type motherfuckers, man. And they put these people in these prisons because their points are high. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why are these people here, man? At any given moment, they can say the wrong thing to the wrong person and get stabbed. Because, like I said, you're dealing with guys that are coming off of Icon, guys that are coming off of Max Con, guys that are coming out the hole for stabbing somebody or whatever they did. You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy, man. Like, why would you put these people in here with these people just because of points, a point level? It just didn't make sense to me, man. I hated it. I hate being in prison anyway, but I mean, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Some used to think about while you were in there, man. Maybe Christmas times rolling around. What were you thinking about in there, like dreaming about, man, to get out and do what? What did you want to get out and do, man?
So honestly, man, like I wanted to get out and get like I looked at my whole bid, like, I'm wasting time, man. Like I've been recording music since I was 13. And my big homie, man, he's the one that he forced me to learn how to do it because he knew I could spit, he knew I could rap, like he knew I could put songs together and he knew I could do it. So he made me learn it. So the whole time I'm in prison, I'm like writing songs, I'm writing verses, I'm putting shit together. I'm finding other guys that rap and we grouping up and we writing songs and trading information. So when we get out, we can link up and work. So I didn't have no family, you know what I'm saying? So during the holidays, it was like, yo, I'll reach out to a couple of my homeboys or maybe a couple of my bitches or whatever. And not that I had bitches, but like I was blessed to have two females in my life at that time. And I would call them. And other than that, man, it's like, yo, I'm just riding it out. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about that music, right? I mean, look, I talked to you. I think you were in California a couple of weeks ago. We were trying to do an interview. We couldn't make it happen. The time zones were different. Like right now, we're doing this interview. People don't know. They're like, Chad, you look tired. Yeah, because we're doing an interview at 11:50 p.m. right now.
Yeah.
And I wake up at 4:30 in the morning to start working. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I know
you're still in the studio.
Pretty much, it seems like you live there, right?
Yeah, man. I'm here pretty much every day or every other day. I'm as much as I can be, man. And we're working on the album, so it takes a lot of time in here. But if I could live in here, I would.
How good are you at freestyling? Are you good?
So I used to be, man. Like I don't know what happened, man. Now I write. You know what I'm saying? Like I write all my songs, and I feel like my song composition and creating catchy choruses and lyrics, man, is like my thing now. So like if I find that right beat, man, and it just hits me, man. Like the other night I wrote a new song. I'll send you a snippet of it, man. I recorded it the other day. And I'll send you a snippet of it, but I recorded, I heard a beat, and I think I wrote the song in like 45 minutes, man. And it actually turned out really well. I mean, really well. So it's all about the instrumentals for me now. You know what I'm saying?
I want people to listen to your music. You want to kick something while we're on here or no?
Uh, Put me on the spot.
I mean, I don't have to. I mean, it's on you. You want to promote your shit?
I'll spit a little something, man. So, yo, I'll spit one of my more detailed verses. You want me to spit right now?
Yeah, go ahead. What are you waiting on?
All right. Yo, I ain't never took an easy street. I came up on my own when all my people ain't believing me. Sometimes I wonder what it is my girl seeing me. I wonder if she leave, would she leave with a piece of me? Would people even speak to me? I think the streets agree with me. It's all about $1. If you ain't got none, you can't eat with me. I'm just trying to put my life where it needs to be. So when you hear the word dedication, I hope you think of me. I ain't got no time. I ain't one for the propaganda. I'm from the street, so pardon me if I don't use the proper grammar. I'm from a city where we use the arm and hammer. I've been trying to get rich since I was shitting in a pamper. I'm just trying to get this cheese like a smile for the camera. The streets hot, they on fire like a candle. So grab a bottle, watch me ease through this liquor. Just remember, life ain't always what it seems in the pictures, man, because it's a cold world trying to make it through the winter. There's layers to this shit, and I'm trying to make it through the middle. Yeah, I know my past ain't make a bunch of sense, but I'm just trying to eat and make some cash. Fuck a couple cents. I lost a couple friends, then I made some even better ones, then made a couple dollars, then I made a couple extra ones. Went and got a bitch, and then I went and got a second one. I keep a plan B. I recommend that shit for everyone. Yeah, there ain't no obstacle too big or small. I'm still in the city, still shopping at the big and tall. I still thank the Lord. I used to couldn't buy shit at all, and I'm still having dreams of me walking through them prison halls. Yeah, this rap shit, it's just foreplay. I used to hear the devil knocking, now we in my doorway. Still wrestle with my past, I call it foreplay. I love making money, but this music shit's my forte. Little song.
I'm gonna put I'll put some of your links, man, when they hear your music and some of the stuff that you're doing. You know, I mean, look, come on, bro. You opened up for Jelly Roll. You opened up for Yellow Wolf, man. I mean,
Yeah.
your music's good, bro. Like
I
with your
appreciate it,
beats,
man. I
all that
appreciate it, man.
shit. It's good, man.
I work so hard at that, man. Because I mean, and I struggle now, man. And if my producer was in here right now, he'll tell you, man. I hate the sound of my own voice sometimes, man. And it's like, yo, people tell me all the time, like, man, I got a good voice or whatnot, and I'm like, man, I just don't hear it, man. But I love to make music, man. And I'm little I can say I'm OCD. Well, I'm like a perfectionist when it comes to the music, though. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always trying to
I,
find a way to make it better.
you talked about. You said something about you got a family now, right?
Yeah, yeah. I got a daughter and a fiance.
How's that feel, man, to go home from work or from going home from the studio or doing whatever you're doing, and you got a little girl that says, you know, 'cause you said you didn't have no family growing up, but say, "Daddy, I love you." What's that feel like?
Oh man, it's the best feeling in the world, man. Like I always used to say, if I had a kid, I always wanted a son, man, and that was until I had my daughter, bro. And you know, you have a daughter, man. As a father, there's nothing else you love more in this world than your little girl, man. And I thank God every day for her, man. That's like my best friend and my biggest fan, man. She knows the words to all my songs.
They say every little girl's first hero in life is her father, man. And
That's right,
as a
man. That's my best friend.
as a man, as a father, man, dudes that have daughters, man, you know, hey, they're the priority now. You're
Yeah,
not the priority. Your baby girl's your priority, right?
that's facts. Yeah, man. That's the only thing. Her and my fiance, man. That's all I care about, man. And you know, I want to see all my people doing well, and you know, I always try to help my community when I can. And you know, other than that, man, it's just me and my family. That's the family I had to create because I ain't have one. So you know, I feel like I got lucky enough to create my own. You know what I'm saying? So that's my number one concern in life is my daughter and her well being and making sure she turns out better than I ever did for sure.
How old's your daughter?
She just turned 5 in July. She just started kindergarten about 3 weeks ago.
What's that feel like to take your daughter to kindergarten?
Oh man, I loved it, man. I was more nervous than she was, man. Like she was ready to go. I was a little nervous, man. I teared up a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, 'cause I spent every day of her life. She was been with me under my watch, under my care since she's been born, and you know, this is the first time in my life where I got to trust somebody else to guarantee her safety. You know, especially with what's going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always a little cautious with it. But I mean, I love that she loves it, and she's acclimating well. She's learning, and she loves school. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I can pretty much ask for at this point. You know what I'm saying?
I want you to keep living your best life, man.
Yeah,
Tell
for
people
sure.
where they can find you. Where can they find your music?
Oh yeah, man. So I'm go by Doe Beezy, man. You see it right there on the screen. My Instagram is at real Doe Beezy, DoeBeezy. Follow me on Instagram. I'm on Spotify under Doe Beezy, man. I got a song called Out the Mud that's going crazy, man. You know, people love that one. I got new music dropping all through Christmas till my album drops, man. Kill on Contact drops in December. Um, and just be on the lookout, man. Like I said, Instagram, Facebook, Doe Beezy, all Doe Beezy, man. The real Doe Beezy.
So listen, bro, I want you to keep living your best life, man. Anything I can do to help you, man. I'm gonna post some of your stuff in our community so people can check you out. I'm gonna tell people to go check you out, man. Check out your music. I think it's good, bro. And I
Hey, I
like it.
appreciate it, man, for real.
Sometimes I have people send me their music and I'm like, I'll tell you
Yeah,
the truth, you know what I mean? Or I just want
yeah.
to, but I think your music's good, man. And you know, I want you to be the best father, best husband you could be, bro. Keep living your best life and appreciate you coming on. Anything you want to say before we get ready to go?
Man, I appreciate the time, bro. I love the channel. I love what you're doing, man. I love what you do for these people that are locked up that need you, bro. Just remember, there's always someone in there that needs you, bro. I fought my case from the inside and got it. As long as you know how it is when you locked up. No one. You out of sight, out of mind, bro. You know what I'm saying? And what you do for people, man, that ain't got no support system, man, is commendable. I love it. I love the channel. And anytime you need anything done or you need something from me, just let me know. I got you.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna tell people, man, his links are in the description. Hit that like button with respect. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. You already know. Until tomorrow, we're out.
Wow.